case is Virginia versus Mustafa Aljazairi. This is a motion that Amy Ashworth put together with her attorneys. So I will be reading over the document and pointing out information that I don't believe would be relevant for the case with Mustafa. So the Commonwealth notice and motion to conditionally admit dash camera footage. Now the Commonwealth, through her attorney, and respectfully moves this honorable court to conditionally admit as authenticated subject to testimony at trial footage produced by the defendant's dash camera as evidence in this cause, subject to other relevant rules, and states in support as follow. Statement of facts. On April 5th, 2023, the defendant was driving a 2007 Chrysler 300, which was involved in a vehicular crash at the intersection of Route 234 and Fortuna Center Plaza in Prince William County. Also in the car with the defendant were Dorothy Ann Fontaine and defendant's romantic partner and Dorothy's daughter, which was a juvenile. The romantic partnership of the defendant and Dorothy was not a happy one. So that there, they want to say it's not a happy one, but I have seen footage from the home and I have seen the dash cam footage and they look like a happy couple, in my opinion. So I don't know how Amy and her people can come to these conclusions, but we'll go on from here. Several of Dorothy's 3 other children have stated that Dorothy had previously fearful of the defendant and his use of erratic and reckless driving as tools of coercion and punishment. But like I just stated, the videos that I have seen does not depict what they are saying in this format. The defendant and Dorothy had reportedly been in an argument on the day in question, based on the defendant's allegations that Dorothy was cheating on him with a prior romantic partner. After the argument, the defendant, Dorothy, and the daughter began driving to Dorothy's mother's gravesite to lay flowers. Okay, so again, the dash cam footage that I seen does not show them arguing. It looks like they're happy and, you know, going to go put flowers on their mother's gravesite. The daughter was sitting in the back seat. So the way that they're depicting this dash cam footage, they're manipulated into their own judgment of what they think is going on. On the way to the gravesite, the Chrysler began being driven by the defendant collided with oncoming traffic. The collision resulted in the death of both Dorothy and her minor daughter. On the day of the crash, the defendant's car had 2 functioning dash cameras, which provided some clarity as the cause of the accident. One facing outwards through the front windshield and one facing inwards, recording the passenger's cabin. Neither recorded any audio. Those 2 dash cameras shows the final moments leading up to the crash. The Chrysler approached the intersection at Fortuna Center Plaza, veered into the left turning lane, and then into oncoming traffic. The outer camera shows the car rapidly approaching the Suburban head-on, just before the footage cuts out prior to the moment of impact with the Suburban. So again, there was a reconstruction of the accident, and it came to the conclusion that the Suburban pretty much hit the ass end of Mustafa's car which made it go into a 360 and land on the other side of the street facing the other direction. Meanwhile, the passenger's cabin camera shows the defendant turning the steering wheel to the left as the Chrysler enters the left turning lane, and then veering toward oncoming traffic. The inner camera then shows Dorothy reaching for the defendant's arm and panic while mouthing the words "no" repeatedly. So that's another thing. How can they see that her or know that her lips are moving to the word "no"? Everybody's mouth moves different for each word that they say. So that's another assumption on their part, that they're assuming that Dorothy is saying no. The inner camera also shows the defendant just before the moment of impact, calmly ignoring Dorothy's fear and pressing his tongue to the right side of his mouth as he steers his family's car towards the Suburban. Dorothy died of her injuries later that same night, while the daughter was pronounced deceased the next morning. So they want to pick out that he put his tongue in the right side of his mouth. I don't even get where or how that makes a difference. Maybe that's his way of showing fear instead of facial expressions. So we'll go on to the argument of the proponent of any piece of evidence must authenticate such evidence by evidence sufficient to supporting a finding that the thing in question is what his proponent claims. And then it goes into more detail of the Virginia law. I'm not going to read all that. There's a bunch of information there. Turning back case before the court, the Commonwealth will show that the dash cam footage was produced without human input and that the automatic generation therefore was produced by reliable and unaltered means. Specifically, the Commonwealth will establish that the video footage was produced by an automated dash camera system throughout the moment leading up to the crash, with no human input. Further, the Commonwealth will show that there has been no altercations or modifications of that video, and that it therefore reliable shows the moment leading up to the crash of the victim's death. The Virginia Courts of Appeal has accepted similar silent witness videos based solely on the reliable showing. So here's some more information. So they're calling it a silent witness because it's not being used by somebody else. Somebody else isn't producing the evidence. It's, the camera, the dash cam. And this is where they signed it. Who signed it, which is Sarah Asami, which is the Senior Assistant Commonwealth's Attorney, County of Prince William in Manassas, Virginia. The certification is this. I hereby certify that a true copy of the foregoing was hand-delivered to the defendant's proceed care of Prince William County Adult Detention Center, located at 9320 Lee Avenue, Manassas, Virginia, on the 23rd of February, 2024. So this one here is the notice and motion to for the jurors. Now the Commonwealth, through her attorneys, and respectfully moves this honorable courts to sequester the jurors prior to and during the trial of the case. Pursuant the Sixth Amendment to the United States Constitution, Article 1, Section 8 of Virginia's Constitution, and Virginia's Code 19.2-264, as grounds therefore states as follows. Statements of facts. On October 2nd, 2023, the grand jury for the 31st Judicial Circuit returned indictments charges that defendant charging the defendant with 2 counts of second-degree murder, 2 counts of felony murder, attempted malice, wounding, and child abuse and neglect. These matters are currently set for jury trial on April 22nd through the 26th, 2024. Since the commencement of this case, the defendant's family has engaged in concerning pre-trial publicity tactics. These tactics have so far included the spreading of overwhelming amounts of sensitive and false information about this case. So they're saying there's false information that the family has put out. In my opinion, if the state would put out the facts that they have against Mustafa, allegedly has against him, then the family would not have to put out their evidence showing that Mustafa is not guilty and be sitting in the adult detention center in Manassas. But they're trying to portray a story of their own. After me reading the police report, there's contradicting information in that. They want to say that the paramedics and them removed the mother and the daughter from the car. But then another spot in the police report says that bystanders removed Dorothy and her daughter from the car. And another thing is, if they would have, this is a hypothetical, if they would have live flighted Dorothy and the daughter to the hospital, they'd probably still be alive today, because traffic at that time, you know, these tactics have so far included the spreading of overwhelming amounts of sensitive and false information about the case, engaging in harassing, intimidating, and threatening behaviors towards the Commonwealth attorney. I don't believe any of that. The assigned prosecutor, defense attorney, law enforcement officials, and even members of the public. The Commonwealth has significant concerns regarding the safety of the jurors and the jury trial process. In this case, and are in turn to the basis for the instant motion. The following is not all-inclusive list. So here is a list that Amy and them put together that they think is going to be an issue come court time. So, on April 10th, 2023, during a bond hearing, the defendant's mother should say her finger. Somebody needs to learn how to proofread. I'm not speaking well, but yeah. Fingers at the assistant Commonwealth attorney, called her a liar and told her that God will punish her for lying. The courtroom deputy then directed the defendant's mother to step outside of the courtroom at request of the presiding judge. Number 2. On December 22nd, 2023, members of the defendant's family attended a jail board meeting held at the adult detention center. Immediately after the meeting, the members of the defendant's family attempted to stop and speak with the Commonwealth attorney, Amy Ashworth, as she was being escorted to her vehicle by armed guards. So they want to bring in that they went to the board meeting. Well, that's open to the public, so therefore they can be there. And she should answer questions if somebody has questions. It shouldn't matter if they have a family member sitting in that jail that, you know, they overlook their self and, you know, go off of their own judgment of how things should go instead of having an outside committee to do these meetings, or, you know, to hold this jail accountable for their actions that are happening within the facility. January 17th, 2024, at a similar jail board meeting, the defendant's family members spoke at public comment time, claiming that the police falsified the police report in this case and alleging that on May 24th, the defendant was beaten and essayed and currently injured with no medical attention. The defendant's older brother, Amar, also became aggressive and exhibited hostile behavior, leading Sheriff Glenn Hill to ask the family and their supporters to leave that meeting. So I seen this video of Amar, and he did not perceive to me that he was aggressive or hostile. But of course, it's through videos, so everybody's perception is different on video, and like that. And there is a recording out there saying that investigator Robert Drum did admit to falsifying the police report. So why cover up any of this? If there's something wrong in the police report, come forth. But no, they rather sweep it under the rug and get a conviction on somebody. For months, the defendant's family have used social media sites such as TikTok, Twitter, which is now X, YouTube, and Facebook to advocate for the defendant and publish sensitive material regarding the case, including recording of the defendant's prior attorney. This sensitive material includes clips of the dash camera evidence in this case that the Commonwealth provided to the defendant's prior counsel. This publication occurred after entry of protective order preventing dissemination of the content, furthering this pattern of advocating and influencing members of the defendant's family have also published content making a broad variety of claims, including that the defendant was charged and is held in jail based on a falsified police report. That evidence in this case has been tampered with, and that the defendant has been and is continued to be mistreated in the adult detention center. So, this all falls under the First Amendment of free speech. I understand there's an ongoing court case, but still yet the family can advocate for their brother or their son. And there's nothing that, or there shouldn't be anything that the state could do to them, because it is their First Amendment right and free speech. So, yeah. And I talked with the family, and they told me there is no such thing as a protective order, saying that they shouldn't release anything that they have. And then they want to bring up the dash cam. Well, yes, they released it. The family did. But they've been asking for the state to release it, for the police to release it to the media, because they went on media and said there was no such thing, and then there was a thing. So, they're lying to the public, which, the police do anyways, or some of them. They're not all bad, but there are those bad ones. They rather keep information hidden and say, oh, this didn't happen or this happened, but we don't have evidence of it. So if they would have came out when the family asked for them to release the dash cam footage, then the general public would know what's going on, of the crash. A number of published TikTok videos have amazed thousands of views. Specifically, a video posted from January 17, 2024 jail board meeting reflects approximately 605,000 views on social media platforms. This social media campaign has gained support from the general public, whose post comments and reshares said video. Well, this isn't against the law. There's nothing in this that's against the law of the United States. It's public. It's freedom of speech. And they're advocating for their brother. So therefore, Amy Ashworth, what is your deal? Why even this doesn't even need to be a part of the court hearing. There's nothing in this that is against the law. Indeed, even a member of the Virginia legislators has joined the support in this cause and used her public pulpit to advocate on behalf of the defendant. repeating the various allegations in this case via her social media. Who cares? They're going to get people that's going to back them, and you're not liking it because it's putting a bad image on you. Your jail, for one, needs to be investigated. Your officers need to be investigated that's on this case. The ones that went into his cell and put him in segregation back in May 24th of 23, and he's still in segregation. What's the point? The family of the defendant and their supporters have also held protests at the courthouse. Well, Amy, that's a First Amendment right. During these protests, the family utilizing a megaphone to causing disruption and catching the attention of members of the public as they entered and exited the courthouse. Wah! There's nothing wrong. They frequently approached members of the public and harassed employees of the Commonwealth Attorney's Office. Well, I asked about this, and everything that they have done that's during the protest is on camera, and the public has come up to them and asked them questions. During these times, the defendant's family has approached members of the public to speak with the defendant from the adult detention center. The family has also called for organized protests via their online publications. So this one here really gets me because this has nothing to do with the case whatsoever. Oh, hold on. Yeah, this one, let me back up. This one does kind of deal with the case because, you know, Amy is her, but whatever. The defendant's brother, Amar, is known to drive an SUV with a postage sign depicting the defendant's face with the words Prince William County, falsified police report, and beating/abuse in jail. He has on occasion driven his vehicle around the parking lot in front of the courthouse with a megaphone mounted on top of it, playing pre-recorded statements regarding the case. This is in addition to published TikTok content showing him visiting various gas stations, playing the recorded content for members of the public. Well, as long as they're on public property, public easements, public sidewalks, anything that is public, Amy, there is nothing that you can do. That is taxpayers' money that pays for those properties. On January 22nd, 2024, the defendant's mother and brother approached defendant's prior counsel, who was standing in front of the desk in the General District Court, asking when he was planning to return the money they paid him. During this interaction, the defendant's mother was standing close to counsel and recording him. It is alleged that counsel knocked the phone out of her hand. Well, I've seen multiple videos of this, even videos from the courthouse, and he smacked the motherfucking phone out of her hand. But the sheriffs that work in that courthouse did nothing about it. Told them to go file a paperwork. Really? That's an assault on an elderly woman for that. The defendant's mother refused rescue on scene, which is a lie, another lie. Thank you, Amy, for more lies. Because she was seen by first responders. The medics came and she denied to go to the hospital at the time, but they checked her out. But the family then sought a civil warrant for assault and battery. The defendant's mother also made claims online that the incident caused her to suffer a broken bone. She continues to wear a bandage from this incident as of the date of the writing. What does that got to do with anything, Amy? She has a fractured bone from Casey Stevens. Lock his ass up. Put him away where he belongs. Look, you got Mustafa there on falsified reports. This actually happened and is on camera, Amy Ashworth. But no, your office is corrupt, just like the police that's working this case. On February 14th, 24, the defendant's mother contacted the adult detention center demanding that the staff have her son call her. The ADC staff explained that they were not able to relay messages to inmates. The defendant's mother then said that if something had happened to her son, all of them would die. So this one here I was talking about has nothing to do with the case. This is the man's right if he wants to bear arms. This here makes me kind of think that they're trying to pull the race card, and the hatred and all that because they are Muslim. In my opinion, Amy Ashworth, this has nothing to do with the case whatsoever. You don't even know why you put it in here, and you don't have nothing on here showing where it was bought. But then you don't want to publish nothing. The Commonwealth has also been made aware that one of the defendant's brother, Muhammad, purchased an AR-style rifle in November of 23, along with 1,000 rounds of ammunition from a store in Manassas. The defendant's family is known to attend most of the defendant's court hearings, which is not against the law, Amy. While this case has been pending before the courts, the sheriff's office had made efforts to ensure that there are additional deputies for security within the courtroom. The assigned Commonwealth attorney has also been provided an escort to and from her office on such days. So, Amy, you think that this family is going to do something. You've already said that in the beginning about Amar being aggressive and that, there's no need for this. You are portraying something that's not there. And wasting more taxpayer dollars because you're scared of something that's not going to fucking happen. Argument, while is rare, trial court in Virginia has broad. Let's see. Most appellate cases involving jury hinges on the issue of pretrial publicity. The Supreme Court of Virginia has held that the mere existence of media coverage does not necessitates jury. So then this is just more legal verbiage. However, in a case, any private communication, contact, or tampering directly or in a juror during a trial about the matter pending before the jury is, for obvious reasons, demand presumptively prejudicial if not made in pursuance of known rule of the court and the instructions and directions of the court made during the trial with full knowledge of the parties. The concerns in this case go well beyond pre-trial publicity. There is a very serious concern that the defendant's family will attempt to improperly influence the jurors selected in this case. His family has been known to engage in intimidation tactics and harass members of law enforcement, the Adult Detention Center, the Office of Commonwealth Attorney, and the public. The Commonwealth is concerned that the defendant's family will set up protests in the jury's parking lot and accost jurors as they arrive at leave for the day, just as the family and supporters have done frequently throughout this case. Unlike most denials of an instruction, abolishing the jury from conducting outside research is not sufficient in this case. Amy, why don't you show proof of your information here? This is just some more. Here's the concern. It's not that jurors will disregard any prohibiting outside research. Instead, the concern is that outside research will be thrown in their face from the members of the defendant's family. The defendant's family has broadcast recordings of evidence in this case despite a protective order. Yet again, Amy, you're a liar. There is no such thing. Issued by the General District Court. They drive vehicles with signs indicating that the police reports in this case have been falsified. There's no other thing wrong with that, Amy. It's First Amendment right. They have been known to follow members of the Commonwealth Attorney Office to their personal vehicles. They have published sensitive information, and they have engaged in a social media campaign in the effort to influence the public in favor of the defendant and his allegations. In contrast to court sittings in the appellate's function, when a court must look at this matter in a prospective fashion, the test is not whether the jury will be prejudiced, but whether they may be more stuff. Finally, in contrast with most cases wherein the allegations of undue juror influence is based merely on speculative information, this was the case in Stockton. The defendant there moved the trial court to sequiturs the jury based merely on the allegation that the case most certainly be a cause célèbre, and that the jury may have been exposed to improper information. The Supreme Court affirmed the trial court determination that this did not establish a basis for squeeze. Yeah, that word is just gonna get me, because the motion was essentially based on nothing but speculation. Unlike Stockton, this motion is not based on mere speculation, but on an established pattern of influence undertaken by the defendant's family and their supporters, and a clear message that they will continue to attempt to try this case in the court of public opinion rather than this court. Therefore, given the harassing tactics employed by the defendant's family, the jury should be, in this case, the jurors should be kept away from public areas during the pendency of the case, so the defendant's family cannot inappropriately influence them. Wherefore, based on this agreement, and those that may be presented in court, the Commonwealth respectfully requests that the court grant the Commonwealth motion to the jury in this matter. Certification as service. And that is it for this video. So, this here, there's a lot of information that Amy wants to put out, but in this document doesn't show any proof that any of this is really happening. I have watched live streams from this family. I have watched video recordings from this family. I have seen people's testimonies about Mustafa. And they're just picking the bad side. They're not looking into this at all. They're going off of a falsified police report, and there's a recording saying that. So if you can, please share this out, and there'll be more to come, because I'm not done with this case. I will keep going until it's done. This family needs justice. Mustafa didn't do this on purpose, as people want to say. The intersection. Yeah, the intersection is something different. It like looking on Google Earth, it's like the road just ends. It's like it's a lane, but then it ends to like a U-turn lane. And looking at Google Earth, it doesn't even look like there's any signage. I'm not from Virginia, so I'm not 100% sure if there's signage out there on this road or not. Even looking at like where the stoplight is at, it doesn't look like there's a sign there that says U-turns only. So the lane that he was in, ends up going straight across if you went straight, which would be onto oncoming traffic. So it's like, hold on. So this here is the road. It's not the best picture. So if you see where the mouse is at, that's the U-turn lane. But like I was saying, in my opinion, there's no signage saying that it's a U-turn lane. Unless you look down on the road, then you see a turn lane. Well, if you go to turn, you're going to turn into a bunch of trees because there's no road over here. It's only a three-way or a three-way road. And so Mustafa's in this lane and he continues to go straight. Then he's on oncoming traffic over here. So they're saying that he went to get back over into his lane because he noticed at the last minute. So he tried to get back over here, but he was blocked in because traffic was coming on both, going both directions. So he was blocked in. So he ended up going this way. And over here is where he got hit by the Suburban, and he flipped a 360 and landed on that side, the side of the road over there. So, this road looks very, he landed over here in like not the median, but the side of the road against the retaining wall. So if you look, he was here, and if he was to turn, there's no road. It's all bushes. So it ended up going into this lane. So this road is screwy anyways, because technically they should not even have a freaking U-turn. That's dangerous in itself. Because if this light's green for this U-turn and the lights here are green for this traffic to go this way, if he went to do that U-turn, he could get hit during the U-turn. It's just a dangerous road. But that is it for this video. Like I said, there will be more coming out. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I am open to questions, and I can also receive emails. I will leave that information down in the description. So thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share.